So good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. Please find your seat and remain upstanding. I would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri and Burrung people of the Kulin Nation and pay our respects to elders past, present and future, and extend respect to all Indigenous Australians present today. Thanks today will be given by past President Peter Dakin, followed by the Loyal Toast to be presented by President Phillip. Please ensure your glasses are charged and, as always, your mobile phones are put on silent. Reflection by Peter Dakin.
Thanks, Devin. Well, good afternoon, Rotarians and guests present here today and online. It's a special day for our Young Achievers Awards. These awards have been presented annually by our club since 1992, recognising outstanding young people in our community. Sadly, we hear every day about the ongoing youth crime in our society, and clearly these young people need considerable counselling support from government and other agencies, and of course Rotary does assist in this regard. That being said, we continue to be inspired by many young people with passion, vision and drive. Just this morning, an 18-year-old Melbourne girl, Bianca Adler, achieved a remarkable feat, completing an expedition reaching the peak of Mount Everest. Last week, another 18-year-old Melbourne student pilot from Melbourne, Rose Donald, completed a 40-day, 15,000 journey, flying solo around Australia, raising $70,000 for charity. I think perhaps we could arrange for these people to be guest speakers at the club later in the year. Youth service is the official theme for May in our Rotary District 9800, dedicating time to empowering young people through leadership development, service projects and education projects. Our club continues to support a range of youth projects, programs and awards, and I'm sure we'll be highly impressed with the winners of this year's Young Achievers Awards today. Over to you, President Phillip.
Rotarians and guests, a toast to Australia and Rotary International. Thank you. Please remain standing. It's my solemn duty to read the valet for the Right Reverend Honourable Dr. Peter Hollingworth, ACOBE. It is with deep sadness I announce the death of Peter on Monday night. Born in Adelaide 90 years ago and raised in Melbourne, Peter was educated at Scotch College before discovering his vocation during national service at the age of 18. He went on to study at the University of Melbourne, earning degrees in arts and theology and being a resident at Trinity College before entering the Anglican ministry as deacon and later priest in charge at St Mary's, North Melbourne. Peter devoted 25 years to the Brotherhood of St Lawrence, eventually serving as executive director and becoming one of Australia's most influential voices for social justice. His ministry and leadership continued as Canon of St Paul's Cathedral, Bishop in the Inner City, and later Archbishop of Brisbane, where he championed the ordination of women and spoke fiercely on behalf of the disadvantaged. Named Australian of the Year in 1992, Peter used the honour to advocate for Indigenous Australians and young people across the nation. In 2001, he was appointed Governor-General of Australia. Peter has been a Rotary member since 1983 and joined December 2004 with the classification Religion Anglican. Peter's commitment to service extended deeply into Trinity. A member of the Rotary Club of Melbourne from 1983 to 1990 and again from 2004, he played a significant role in the PACE initiative and supported youth recognition programs such as chairing the Skyline Foundation. For more than 60 years, Peter was a tireless advocate for Indigenous Australians, refugees, the homeless, the unemployed, and those living in poverty. His fearless commitment to justice and humanity earned him widespread recognition, including being named an Australian National Living Treasure in 1997 and receiving Paul Harris Fellows Honours from Rotary Carlton in 1989 and a sapphire in 2014 from our club. Peter leaves a legacy of faith, courage, and service. His life was defined by compassion for others and unwavering determination to build a fairer and more caring society. He will be remembered with admiration, affection, and gratitude by all whose lives he touched. Let us remember Peter with a moment of silence. Details of a service will be advised to members when available. Thank you. Please be seated. We'll be breaking for lunch and reconvene at 1:10. For those online, please take up the opportunity of the Zoom breakout rooms, which will open shortly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's great to hear all that congeniality out there. So members, visitors and guests, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to our 42nd meeting of this Rotary year. And yes, it's our 5,125th club meeting in our 106-year history. Today is one of the highlights in our club calendar, the recognition of young members of our community with the annual presentation of the Young Achievers Award. We are very pleased to have as our special guest presenter and past awardee in 2019, Nick Pearce, co-founder of the Homey fashion brand and social enterprise. We're delighted that Nick has agreed to speak today and assist in making the presentations to our awardees. Would you please join me in acknowledging and making Nick welcome? That's right. Our 2026 Young Achiever awardees who are here, Masha Nabazala, where are you? Down there. Jack Benchy, Joel Moffat, and special award recognition Mary Nguyen. So accompanying Jack, we have his partner Salome Major Agadalo. Yeah, yep. And Joel is currently travelling and will receive his award at a later date. Supporting Masha and past Young Achiever Award alumni is Emma Amos. Thank you. Also here, alumni of the Young Achiever Awards, Billy Chen, Panlin Lim, and Mursal Reza, as our guests, along with fellow alumni Joseph Alcara, Sebastian Antoinon, and Wazi Abadi from Western Chances. Terrific supporters of the day, we have Jacqueline Garnsworthy and Gillian Anderson. And lastly, as our guest, we welcome Jessica Zurch. Jessica will shortly be inducted into the club. Would you please acknowledge and make all of our young achievers and special guests welcome? Now, we have guests of Rotarians. You may have noticed some people going around with cameras and videography who are volunteering their time to produce some flash social media clips for us. So we need to welcome Janet Wang, Emmanuel Fung, Marnie Long, Kate Locker, and as a Rotary International guest, we have Akhtareen from the Rotary Club of Madras, or Chennai as we now call it, in India. So if you could all please stand and we can make you all welcome, please. I would like to call on Jessica Zurch to come forward for induction into the membership of the club. And I call on Jessica's sponsor, Joseph Ebbage, to introduce her.
Thank you, President Phillip. I'm very pleased to introduce Jessica Zurch to the Rotary Club of Melbourne. She is motivated to contribute her professional skills to support our club's community service and leadership initiatives. Jessica moved from Tailem Bend, South Australia to Melbourne in 2015. She's a public service executive leader with broad experience in strategic policy, program leadership, and system reform across complex portfolios. She is currently Director, Strategic Priorities and Workforce Office of the Department of Jobs, Skills, Industry and Regions within the Victorian Government. For Jessica, Rotary has held significant influence throughout her journey, both personally and professionally. In South Australia, Jessica participated in the Rotary Youth Exchange Program and the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, going on to become a member of the Rotary Club of Tailem Bend, served as club secretary and incoming president for 2015. However, Jessica moved to Melbourne in that year to commence work as the Victorian Program Coordinator, Regional Development, Victoria Department of Economic Development, Job Skills, Precincts and Regions. Jessica understands the core values of Rotary and is deeply aligned with the Rotary principle of service above self. She's looking forward to the opportunity of becoming actively involved in our club and in our programs and in Rotary International more broadly. She's committed to using her skills to make a meaningful difference in the community. President Phillip, it gives me much pleasure to introduce the membership of the club, Jessica Ziich, who holds the position of Director, Strategic Priorities and Workforce, and will have the classification of Public Sector, Strategy, Reform and System Leadership. She's a former member of the Rotary Club of Tailem Bend. She will be a member of the Central 2 group. I will be proudly Jessica's mentor in the club, and she'll be known in the club as Jessica.
Jessica, we welcome you as a member of a Rotary Club of Melbourne. Your fellow members believe you to be a leader in your vocation and have a personal and professional qualities that will ensure the principles of Rotary will be safe in your hands. As a former member of a Rotary Club of Tailem Bend, South Australia, you're already experienced in the applications of the object of Rotary, and with the help of your fellow members, I'm sure you'll be very comfortable in the companionship and service of our organisation. The Rotary badge you received today, as you well know, your entry into thousands of Rotary clubs around the world. Jessica, we most warmly welcome you into the continued membership of Rotary, and so with this expectation, I offer you the right hand of fellowship and ask that members stand and join me in welcoming you to membership of the club. Welcome, and I now invite you to respond.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, thank you for the very warm welcome that I've had over a number of months into the Rotary Club of Melbourne, here on the lands of the Wurundjeri Wurrung people. It is genuinely a privilege to be joining a club with such a strong history of leadership, service, and contribution to community. The principle of service above self is something that's been instilled in me for a long time through my family, my previous involvement in Rotary at a young age, through my community life, growing up in rural South Australia, and through my career here in the public service. I think when you grow up in regional communities, you see very quickly that communities only function because people step up, contribute and support one another without expecting anything in return. That's one of the reasons returning to Rotary feels so meaningful to me now. It reflects values that have shaped both my personal and professional life. And contributing to something bigger than yourself, creating opportunities for others, and trying to leave things better than you found them. I think today's focus on young achievers is incredibly important, because leadership doesn't begin at a certain age, title, or stage of life. Leadership starts when people are encouraged, trusted, and given the opportunity to contribute. And Rotary has a really important role to play in creating those opportunities for young people, because leadership is not about status or position, but it's about lifting people up, creating space for others to succeed, and using whatever platform you have to contribute positively. So I'm really looking forward to becoming involved in the club and contributing where I can, and also learning from all the people in this room and online and in the broader club. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Just on some notices, following the recent death of past President Peter McCall, 3 members, Bill Pickett, Cheryl Lacey and Kevin Shen, mobilised to produce or procure 6 boxes of various books donated by his wife Kay for the purposes of fundraising for Rotary. These have been since sorted into a collection of collectible coffee table books, signed editions and other high quality publications. I've had a look, there's some rippers in there. The books will be available for purchase at next week's meeting, and all funds will go to the club operations for purposes of a club history reprint. Just a reminder that there's also a notice of service in memory of Peter, a memorial service occurring next Thursday. Details are in this week's bulletin or from the Rotary office. If just further to our filming today, if anyone is concerned about Rotary privacy matters, could you please contact Joe in the Rotary office? Now to the business of the day. I will call Minnie Watts from our Vocational Service Committee to take over the meeting. Thank you, Minnie.
Good afternoon, Rotarians, and thank you, President, for welcoming me here today. This afternoon, we have the Young Achiever Award program, which is a very important part of our club's Vocational Services Committee. And the purpose of our Vocational Services Committee program is part of the DNA of our club. And the purpose is to use the skills we develop in our vocations to serve others in our communities. Our Young Achiever Award program has been running in our club since 1992, and we are proud of the role in helping many young leaders in our community. And today we have Mr. Nick Pearce, who is going to help present the Young Achievers Award. Nick is the co-founder and the former CEO of one of Australia's leading social enterprises, Homey, a highly innovative streetwear clothing brand that uses 100% of its profits to provide employment pathways to young people affected by homelessness. You know, every now and then we have to pause and celebrate somebody who isn't just managing a crisis, but who is also dismantling the engine that created. And I had the honor and pleasure, Nick, to just go online as we do to search some of what you have been doing, and it was just incredible. And instead of seeing you literally that will normally introduce you as, you know, social entrepreneur, technical innovator, former corporate strategist, etc., I think we see you as somebody who tried to be part of dismantling a trillion-dollar homelessness industry by supporting people from all walks of life who suddenly find themselves in very difficult circumstances. And all those programs that keep people in a revolving door of survival, stereotypes, etc. And you literally ask the heretical question, what if we stop treating housing like a reward for good behavior? But what if we could ensure that these people don't come back again? And when I read some of the interviews that you've done online, you know, just having this idea with your mate, sitting with people in the trams, through, you know, going to uni and seeing what was going on, and then deciding to do something about it. So you decided to flip that script and disrupting this. It looks simple, but it was really a radical thing that you people have done. And they provide not just opportunities in terms of housing, but really using the resources and the profits from their business to invest in the people that use the services. But what was important when I looked and I read a little bit more about the work you've been doing, Nick, is how personal you people get to know those people, and that any of us in this room and anybody could become homeless, sitting down and getting to know the people rather than just seeing them as a statistics. So, and some of these people have gone on not just to work in the industries and the opportunities that you've created for them, but some of them are now creating opportunities for others because they have a home and they've got a shelter and they've got stability in their own lives. So it is no longer about surviving. And the others are driving trucks, others are doing so many things out there. So they've disrupted homelessness by providing a system wasn't broken by accident, it was broken by design. You were very intentional to manage this system. And with Homey, you said homelessness has to stop because housing first. So it was a job with purpose. I want to say thank you, Nick, for for the leadership, and with your friend that you decided to do this at, the young age of 21, when people are trying to still identify who they are. So it is my pleasure, everybody, to welcome Mr. Nick, who will be giving the 2026 Rotary Melbourne Young Achievers Awards, but also highlighting some of the impact of the work that you have done. Thank you and welcome to the stage.
Oh, thank you so much, Mimi. That's probably the best introduction I've ever had. So I really appreciate that, and the warm reception from the Rotary Committee. I really appreciate it. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land which we got on today and pay my deep respects to elders past and present. And to the young people today, congratulations. I was reading your bios and I feel very humbled to be a former recipient when I look at your amazing achievements. It's I certainly don't feel worthy. So if I can do it and what we've gone on to achieve, then I've got no doubt you've got so many positive experiences ahead of you, and I'm very excited for you with your futures. But it is like a timestamp, I think, reflecting on sort of being a former recipient and standing in this room and receiving the acknowledgement. Certainly was a bit of a moment. I think Rotary Melbourne and Rotary at large is an organisation that just has so many passionate people who are so committed and selfless. And I just want to implore you as recipients to leverage and utilise this network, and don't be afraid to ask for things you need help with, because it's such a room full of not only warm and wonderful, welcoming people, but so connected, and so many things you probably don't even know you could get some assistance with had you not asked the question. So please today use an opportunity to really further the connection with Rotary, because we've had a very fortunate relationship with Homie. I know some of you may have heard from us before at some former engagements, so I don't want to sort of bore you and retrace, but today I want to sort of give you a little bit more of a sense of what we've gone on to achieve since that sort of moment in time in my life, and some of the great things that have happened, attributing, as I say, a good part of that to organisations such as Rotary Melbourne. So I want to thank you sincerely and show you the ripple effect. But my message, it's very simple to the young people today and the recipients, is just to keep going. This is a great platform. It's a wonderful opportunity. But obviously you're on the right track, on the right path, and just keep your head down, keep working, keep going, and amazing things can happen. So I'm not sure when we got in terms of the tech, I apologize. It's totally fine. I think Anna's going to assist me just in terms of slideshow. And again, it's going to be hard to sort of realize 10 years of Homie into 10 minutes. But I'm just going to try and give you an overview of some of the key moments, some of the insights from our time. The one thing I want to start with, because it really resonates, that I guess this notion of service above self, is this great quote. I'm not sure if anyone knows of the writer George Eliot. It was actually a woman called Mary Ann Evans that was the pen name. And I think it really embodies, thank you so much, and encapsulates the spirit of Rotary, this notion of, what do we live for if not to make life less difficult for each other? And what I love about it is I feel like there's a lot happening in the world always, and it can be quite overwhelming. And sometimes, it can be quite challenging to grapple with sort of all of the, the conflicts and the, the issues that we're sort of presented with on a daily basis. But I love this notion of making one other person's life a little bit easier. And we always said at Homie that we can't do everything for everyone, but we can do something for someone. And Mimi, you really encapsulated that so well in terms of us being really hyper-focused and realizing that we can't be the entire solution, but we can be a piece of the puzzle, and working out what is the best place for us to make the best possible impact was always a question. So I just think that this quote, really resonates with the motto of Rotary and Rotary Melbourne around this notion of service above, self, because that's always been our focus and always been my kind of goal, I guess, as an operator in the space, is if we can make one person's life a bit easier, that's worth doing. And I'm sure you can all wholeheartedly attest to. But we also know, I think, that when you help one person, it's always more than that. And we've seen a lot of young people, as Mimi said, who've gone back and supported other young people who've had similar crises in their lives because of some of the work that we've been able to achieve with them. And that's really empowering. I've found that often, the folk that we've felt maybe had the most challenges have also been the most equipped to actually support those who have, because they've walked in those shoes, etc. So we feel very lucky to have been a piece of the puzzle. A little bit about Homie, because I know some of you have actually heard of it before, and I don't want to kind of rehash, but this is us. We're an organisation that supports young people affected by homelessness or hardship with the skills, confidence and experiences to be more work ready and better prepared for their futures. In layman's terms, we sell t-shirts. I'm wearing one right now. I apologize, probably not adhering to the dress code of this event today. But we use those profits 100% to provide employment pathways to young people who just need an opportunity. I think the thing that we found is homelessness is so complex. There are so many elements to it. But we realized that what we could do is be a really critical piece of the puzzle and I guess intercept young people at that critical juncture and provide an alternative pathway and not try and be the entire solution, but be hyper-focused on awareness raising, direct employment opportunities, because retail, the industry that we're in, is the biggest employer of young people, and youth homelessness is the most represented group of people who are experiencing it in our country. So I think it's 40% of the homeless population in Australia is under 25, 60% is under 35. So the true face of homelessness is not the elderly person who's living rough on the streets. That's obviously absolutely a reality, but it's often young people who are fleeing unsafe family situations. Lack of affordable housing is obviously the biggest contributing factor, and family violence. So we're really passionate about trying to, I guess, advocate for the reality of what homelessness actually is and where we can actually make the greatest impact, because we had so many young people come to us, and I'll talk a little bit about some of our programs, just saying, look, this has been amazing because we do these dignified shopping experiences, which I'll show you a little bit of in a second, but I just need a job. Like, I just cannot get any work. I've got nothing on my resume, no work experience, and I just need to start. And I guess for us to recognize that and think, well, that's something I think we can hopefully achieve, given that we're in this industry that actually has the greatest capacity to employ young people and sort of be that advocate and influence to others, was always the goal. So it wasn't trying to do everything. It was this idea that we can't do everything for everyone, but we can do something for someone. So we're going to focus very intently on young people, work very comprehensively and collaboratively with specialist homelessness services, with large retailers, and provide the supported pathway into independent living and happy, healthy, fulfilling lives, which is an amazing thing. So again, I've given you a bit of an insight into sort of the statistics and the reality, but I just, you can visualize the MCG, on grand final date, full capacity is the situation that we're presented with. But again, if you look at that representation and think about 60% of that being sort of 35 and under, that, the true face and reality of homelessness is quite different to what is often perpetuated in the mainstream media. So we're really passionate about trying to challenge that narrative. Also, the reality, which I loved Mimi said as well, is that we don't see anyone as a homeless person. It's a person experiencing homelessness, a situation or a circumstance someone can get out of with the right level of support, care, opportunity, which I'll show you as well. But there's so much power in language and this idea of these small actions and small gestures, because as you say, we sat down with someone, got down to their level, had a conversation, looked them in the eye, and it just really challenged our own preconceived notions of what we thought homelessness was. And then even using that language, that, I actually work in the sector of homelessness with people who are experiencing homelessness, not actually defining them as a homeless person, is a really easy thing that everyone can do in this room to help our specific cause, even though there are so many wonderful things you're already supporting, but that's an easy way to support us. What we've been able to do and sort of achieve since myself being here as a recipient, I'm really proud to say, we haven't solved homelessness yet, but I think we've really recognised that we can play a meaningful role, and the way that we operate, providing these supported employment opportunities, having now been able to have over 4,000 young people in our programs is a great result for us. And I love this idea of like the clothing gifted is not stuff that we receive donations and we forward it on. It's brand new clothing. It's our quality clothing that young people get to come in and choose for themselves. They get to choose 5 items of brand new clothing. We do haircuts, food, coffee, and it's a dignified shopping experience. So it's chosen at their own discretion and their self-agency. And this idea of giving back is that we have graduates from our employment program who come back and help facilitate those shopping events. And that's a really powerful means of advocacy, because someone can say, hey, I was here a year ago and I was doing this but now I'm actually working here and I'm achieving this, which is really powerful. And I think we've hit that milestone of over $1 million in wages being paid as well, which is a great number as well to be associated with. I'm not going to give you sort of the origin story because I'm very conscious of time. I want to make sure we get to the actual awards themselves and to the recipients who are so wholly deserving. But I wanted to just show you again, like the ripple effect and people who obviously potentially have started on that journey or have got involved or are sort of at that midway point and where to next. This was us, like 10 years ago, and we didn't have any clothing, no fixtures and fittings, nothing, but we had a dream. We had some passion, which required some logic and some logical application, which we fortunately were able to do. But the evolution has been really awesome. And just to see, I guess, the community support, that was the first iteration of our store, again, 10 years ago, which we pulled together through the community and organizations such as Rotary supporting through some funding, to now, this is our new store in Melbourne, in the Emporium, which was really exciting, sort of our secondary site. And you can sort of see the evolution of that itself, right? Like in terms of what Day Dot looked like versus this, but the impact that we've been able to realize. I'm so proud of not what we've done, but the way we do it, which is, providing a dignified experience for people. These 3 pillars: unconditional positive regard, a strengths-based approach, and meeting underperformance with curiosity. And it's been amazing when you adapt that mindset, the mentality, and sort of champion this notion of what we call empathetic employment, what can be realized. And a very small, quick example, like I think back to one of the young women who was in our programs, early days, super talented. Within the space of 12 months, she became the head genius at an Apple store in Melbourne, in Chadstone. And completed her degree and is now working for our National Intelligence Organisation, which is really cool. So that's a good thing for you, Kaz, to follow up. But I just think, it's amazing. We didn't do it all, and I don't want to profess that we are the solution, but we identified that we were a piece of the puzzle. And this idea of not doing everything for everyone, but something for someone, and really being proud of what that something is and who that someone is as well. And I think we've, been able to achieve that. We still have a lot of aspirations. I was going to try and play a video, but I'm conscious that it might be really loud. I hope not, Joe. We'll see how we go, which just is from the words of the young people themselves, articulating what homie means to them. And then I'll wrap up. So I just wanted to kind of give you a sense, better than me trying to talk about it, from the horse's mouth, and people that have been in our programs, have come back and become employees or gone on to work in other industries, speaking about what our organisation is. We'll see how we go. If not, it's totally fine. I can give you a bit of a wrap up. Oh, I'm going to unmute. It's okay. Sorry. And if that doesn't work, it's totally fine, because I'm conscious of time and I'm going to wrap up in minutes. Oh, sorry. Is that good working? Oh, unmute. Sorry, I'm so bad at tech. It's not working. That's okay. That one. You know what? Don't worry about it. I will send the presentation if people want to take a look at it down the line, then they are more than welcome to. So I guess in closing, I just want to, again, impress my sincere gratitude. Actually, I want to try and get to one other slide, because on this day, something really special happened in my situation. I'm going to try and exit that. Sorry, because tech is not my forte. I might need your hand. Sorry, Joe, on the end of the pres on the slide. That's the video. Sorry. Don't worry if not. That's okay. Sorry, it's had a bit of a technical difficulty. What I wanted to do, there's actually a photo. I was very fortunate that a family friend of ours, Adrian Campbell, who was actually at this with myself back in 2019, was a member of Campbell Rotary. He unfortunately passed away, myeloma. He was a fierce champion. And it was just to kind of be back in this room again and, have been there with Adrian and had that experience with my dad and him was really special. So I just want to thank you for the warmth and the community here. It's really immense and profound. And to the young people, please use the Rotary Melbourne network and Rotary at large. It's a wonderful organisation. They're here to help. They're always happy to help. Just don't be afraid to ask for those things. But I'm really pleased and honoured to induct you in and to be a fellow alumni of this association, which you also justly deserve. And I wish you all the absolute very best with your future careers, which I no doubt you're going to do an amazing job with. So thank you again for having me, and wishing everyone a great afternoon.
Thank you so much, Nick, and thanks for sharing an inspiring message. Now, can I ask our chair to introduce the chair? Can I ask our President Philip to come up to the podium, please? Over to you, Press. Okay, great. So Press is going to prepare the certificate and I'll do the introduction. So we've got a few achievers. One is overseas, but I'm reading all the bios. And when I finish reading your bio, please just come up to the stage. I'm going to start in no order with Masha Nabizada for excellence in community leadership and youth advocacy. Masha, are you here? Thank you. Come up. Masha is an inspiring young leader whose work spans media, youth engagement, community advocacy, and public policy. As a producer with ABC, including work connected to ABC Haywire, she has helped amplify the voices of regional, multicultural, and underrepresented young Australians. Masha has demonstrated outstanding leadership through a wide range of roles, including government and community advisory positions, such as the Victorian Youth Congress and the Social Cohesion Youth Reference Group. She has also contributed to organizational leadership as Chief People Officer of the Melbourne Space Program, supporting culture, well-being and leadership across a large student-led organization. Her community contribution is equally strong through roles with Embrace Education, the Center for Multicultural Youth, Mariam Women's Incorporation, and other community initiatives. MASA has supported young people, multicultural communities, and women's empowerment locally and internationally. Can we please give a hand to Marsha? Our next recipient is Jack Benchy for excellence in education, mentoring, and community impact. Jack is a dedicated young educator. Jack, are you here? Thank you. When I'm reading, we want to see you come up the stage. Jack is a dedicated young educator, researcher, and mentor whose achievements span chemistry, education, entrepreneurship, and community service. He completed his Bachelor's of Science and Bachelor of Business with distinction, followed by first-class honors in applied chemistry, achieving a perfect 4.0 GPA. Jack's achievements include repeated recognition of the Vice Chancellor's list of academic excellence, competitive PhD scholarship support, conference presentations, and early research contribution in areas including computational chemistry, drug discovery, and environmental monitoring. Beyond his academic and professional achievements, Jack has made a meaningful contribution through tutoring, mentoring, STEM outreach, and support for Indigenous and international students. His work has helped students build confidence, capability, and a strong connection to learning. Please put your hands together for Jack. Thank you, President. Our next awardee is Joel for excellence in biomedical research and community leadership. Joel is an outstanding young researcher at the Walter and Eliza Hall Institute of Medical Research and the University of Melbourne, where he is undertaking a PhD in brain cancer research. Beyond his academic achievements, Joel has contributed to the student and research community through leadership, mentoring, and advocacy roles, including service within the WEHI Student Association and WEHI's Inclusion Network. Unfortunately, Joel is currently in Switzerland and unable to be present with us today. We look forward to welcoming him when he's back in Melbourne, and he's going to be able to have lunch so that he can be recognized in person when he is back here with us. So, but regardless, put our hands together for this young scientist. Oh, there he is. He's on the screen. Joe, there you go. Congratulations. Next, we also have a new award this year, our new Emerging Leader and Future Impact Award. This new award is generously sponsored by Untapped Talent, and this year's recipient is Mary Nguyen. Mary, can we put our hands together for her, please? Mary is an emerging young leader who has already demonstrated strong initiative, maturity, and promise at an early age of her journey. She is currently studying a Bachelor of Commerce at the University of Melbourne with a double major in finance and economics. Mary has shown strong commitment to learning, leadership, and personal growth. Her achievements include participation in the iLead Japan Global Innovation, Leadership and Entrepreneurship Immersion Program, internship experience with education technology startup Sticky Tech, and contribution to learning design research at the University of Melbourne, including work exploring generative artificial intelligence and student transition into tertiary education. Mary has also contributed to the community through volunteering and youth engagement, including the NGV Teen Council and other service activities. Her Western Chances Scholarship journey further reflects her resilience, drive, and commitment to creating future opportunities. Please, congratulations, Mary, and can we have our hands together for her? So thanks, Nick, for handing over the certificates. And can we just have some individual photos? And please stay on stage. Let's have a group photo together with the president before you all step down. Thank you. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us here. And could I invite everybody to join, and some of you to join our vocational service committee, please? So I think we've got, yes, a few minutes to our recipients. Where are you, please? Recipients, please. 2 minutes each or 1.5 minutes to just say a few words of thanks. Bring your certificates with you, please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's such a privilege and an honor to be here and to have this platform by Rotary. I would like to thank the Rotary for their support. I'm very well acquainted with Rotary. When I was in school, I got support and a scholarship to attend a National Youth STEM Summit, which then led me to pursue science at university and graduate with a degree in psychology last year. So very well acquainted, and thank you so much for the support. I also have two amazing women here by my side today that I wanted to acknowledge. My sister, Lena, who's been there, who inspires me every day, who motivates me, and definitely here because of her. And my dearest friend, Emma, who has always inspired me, has shown me what community does, has shown me kindness and empathy, and as a true motivator and an inspiration to me. Thank you so much for this award. I think when reflecting back on my journey, courage, full circle moments, and lots of curiosity is what comes to mind. And throughout my whole life, I've been always a very curious learner and someone who's always tried to step up when leadership is needed. And so thanks so much for this award. You have my bio. I'd love to speak to all of you today if I get a chance. And thank you once again.
Hello, everyone. Thank you to the many esteemed guests gathered here today, to the Rotary Club of Melbourne for the honour, and congratulations to the other recipients, of course. Behind every opportunity, every success, every milestone is a network of people who love you, challenge you, and support you. And so as I stand here today, holding back a few bit of tears, my wonderful partner, Salome, thank you for everything that you do. I am a 23-year-old PhD student, researcher, and course coordinator at RMIT. I've been a university educator for about 3 years now, in particular working with international and Indigenous students. I've had the absolute privilege of watching my students grow into incredible learners and discover that they are more capable than they would have ever thought. I'm in a unique position as a teacher. I work with many students from a wide range of cultural and demographic backgrounds. Some are based in tens of thousands of years of history. Others are from halfway across the world. For me, good teaching is about building bridges. You need to pave the path for them at the end of the day. Sometimes that bridge is small, sometimes it is long. Sometimes it has small steps, and sometimes big. Sometimes it is quick to make, and others very time consuming. But at the end of the day, it is ever rewarding. Watch those students walk across that bridge. Thank you for the award today. It means a lot to be recognized. And I hope, obviously, if you want to get in touch, please be sure to reach out to me. I'm always happy to have a conversation about my work and research, but thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations again to our recipients, but also thanks, Nick, for your message, but also for being here to give these awards today. Could I also thanks to our MC, Karen Kim, for their reflection, and Peter Durkin, and our launch setup and reception teams, and of course, Deb, who is always present. And please, if you can stay back a few minutes to assist with the pack up, we will really appreciate that. Just a kind reminder that our meeting next week is going to be right here at number 35, and our guest speaker is going to be advised. We hope that you're going to be able to join us.